Ladies and gentlemen, today I'd like to speak to you about a famous figure from the 20th century. He won a Nobel Peace Prize, but he is considered by many to be a terrorist. Some see him as a freedom fighter, whereas others see him as an international criminal. He fought for Palestinian rights and he fought for the liberation of Palestine for many years. Here, of course, I'm talking about none other than Yasser Arafat. I'd like to start speaking about Yasser Arafat when he was young, and in my second speech I will speak about his struggle for Palestinian independence in more recent years. It is thought that Yasser Arafat was born in Cairo. However, this is not entirely clear. Nobody really seems to be able to pinpoint his exact place of birth. What is clear is that his mother died at the age of 4, and this meant that he was forced to move to Jerusalem with other members of his family. In Jerusalem, he lived near the Wailing Wall and the Al-Aqsa mosque, and these very emblematic locations surely influenced him a great deal when he was a young boy. When he was young, he also witnessed many anguished family debates about the future of Palestine. He also saw great rebellions take place before his very own eyes. He saw an uprising of the peasantry, and this inspired him in his own armed struggle later on in life. Because of his mother's death, Yasser Arafat was brought up mainly by his elder sister. It seemed that from a young age he was destined for great things. It was said that he would gather together children in the street who were of a similar age to him, and he would march them up and down in something similar to a military parade. And if any of the children disobeyed what he ordered, then he would hit them with a stick. From a young age, Yasser Arafat seemed to have a certain fascination for Jewish culture. He read a lot of Jewish literature. However, of course, this would not lead to appreciation for Jews later on, above all because of the events of 1948. At this time, of course, the catastrophe occurred. This is named catastrophe by the Palestinians, because this was when a mass exile of Palestinians took place. Yasser Arafat was lucky enough not to be exiled by the Israelis, like many others were. However, he did decide to respond fiercely to these events. He was only 19 at the time, but he realized that he had to fight for Palestine. This led to him taking part in arms smuggling. He smuggled arms from Egypt across the border into Palestine. However, he was betrayed, in his own words, by an Egyptian officer who confiscated the arms from him, and this contributed to his feeling of betrayal throughout his life. Yasser Arafat realized that Palestine could not simply rely on others for its decision making, and it could not rely on others to have an impact in the world. Therefore, he realized that Palestinian institutions needed to be created. He was only a student at the time when he realized these things, however, but he nonetheless put together a group of young students who worked for Palestinian rights. This group was called the League of Palestinian Students. Yasser Arafat took 7 years to graduate from university, and this was mainly because of his heavy involvement in politics. After his graduation, he went to Kuwait, where he worked as an engineer. Kuwait, of course, was very wealthy because of the oil that was being drilled for in the region. This meant that Yasser Arafat had the opportunity to make a fortune building roads and bridges as an engineer. In 1959, he became the editor of a magazine based in Kuwait, and this publication focused on Palestinian rights and the Palestinian fight for freedom. It was also at this time that Yasser Arafat founded Fatah. He did this along with a group of other young Palestinian exiles. In 1965, he organized raids into Israel, and he did this with the Fatah guerrilla group Fedayeen. Yasser Arafat's struggle continued for many years, and his fight against his fight against Israel meant that Israel was somewhat justified in 1967 when it took away a lot of the Palestinian territories. I will continue to speak about Yasser Arafat's struggle for Palestinian liberation in a few minutes in my next speech. Thank you.